Hey, good morning to you. Welcome to Authentic Life Fellowship. Beautiful day outside. It's been a beautiful week as we finished up For the City 2022, number 6 in the books. It's been a great week and had just great opportunities, great participation, and it's good stuff. Apparently, I was the only one that laundered my shirt and chose to wear it to work. So we'll see. But it's good to see you guys this morning. We have a very special guest on campus today, our own Brother Earl Hammond from the Dominican Republic. For those of you who may be new to us, Brother Earl and I met, oh my goodness, 20 plus years ago. And Brother Earl is who I consider to be my pastor. Every pastor needs a pastor, and Brother Earl's my pastor. So he's been very instrumental in my personal life, in my spiritual life, in my ministry life. And we are excited to have him here today. And he's going to be sharing both in our Sunday school hour and during more worship service. If you've not heard Brother Earl, you are in for a treat. A gifted preacher and communicator, and you're going to be very, very excited when you get the chance to hear his teaching. So we're going to go over and join them here, let's see, in about 4 minutes. But until then, just want to encourage you guys, this week we start our summer family schedule. And so this week, I'm thinking right off the top of my head, I think it's cornhole and corn dogs. We're just going to have a fellowship here on campus. Now, don't go get a tattoo on that. It's posted on the Facebook page. It's posted on the website, and it should have come to you in an email. Double check me on that. But this Wednesday night, we get together. Also, Tuesday night, I believe, is the ladies' fellowship here on campus. So how much am I truly sure about? Well, Jesus loves me. I love him. After that, it all gets a little shaky because I'm a little behind today. But it's been a good week, and I hope that you've had a good week. And it's just good to be here. We kind of sometimes, if we're not careful, can take for granted all that the Lord does just to bring us together each Sunday, and just a good day. So let's see what else. There we go. Next Sunday, I begin a new Sunday school series and sermon series. So next week you get me, double dose, both brand new medications. So it's going to be great. Good morning to you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Brother Buddy is nearing his treatment there in Tyler. And so we're hoping to see his face back here in Greenville here midweek or so. That'd be great. So, but it's been a great week. A little tired, but that's okay. The world's ran by tired people, right? So, um, mm, but let's see what else. What else? Uh, hey, good morning, Paige. Welcome. Thank you for being here this morning. Don, good to see you. Thank you for being here. It's great to see all of you guys. I just want to say thank you to all of you that make the appointment, take the time, and make the effort to be with us. It means the world to us, and I hope that it blesses you. And I know that it honors the Lord because you're putting Him first and you're giving Him your first fruits on this Sunday morning. So that's good stuff. So here's what I'm going to do is we are going to peek in to the worship center. I don't see Earl there yet. I know he's there. I know he's ready. And I've got Jeff wrangling him. See, there he is. Hey, good morning, Debbie. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. So we'll give Earl a minute, and then we'll toss it over there. Good morning, Dad. Welcome back from the coast. Glad to have you back home safe and sound. So nice crowd in Sunday school this morning. This morning I opted for hot tea. Feeling a little European this morning, so I'm hot teaing the beverage instead of coffee. So that's all good. That's good. Good morning, Samuel. Welcome, welcome. Really glad that you're there, brother. So we have got a lot going on. Let's see. I gave Jeff one job: get Earl in front of the camera at 9:05. Woo! We're running close. We're running close. So we'll wait for Brother Earl to get there, and we will kick it over to him. What else? Seems like I'm really forgetting something, but I'm excited about our new teachings. It's beginning next Sunday in Sunday school and in the morning worship service. Oh, there he is. So without further ado, I'm going to kick you over to the worship center. Love you guys. See you soon.
Good morning. Welcome to ALF. I'm Earl Hammonds. I'm your missionary to the Dominican Republic. And this morning I have the unique privilege of giving you an update. It was a year ago that I was here. It's hard to believe how fast the time has gone by. And so my goal this morning is to share with you during this Bible study hour 2 videos about our ministry. You know, missionaries have to show you what's happening, and a picture is worth how many words? 1,000 words. A video is worth 10,000, in my opinion. A very well-edited video. Now, and so there are a couple of reports I want to give you, but the very first video that I want to share with you is about our Operation Christmas Bags. And it was about 7 years ago, a church in Oklahoma contacted me and said, "Hey, Earl, we don't want to send our Christmas boxes off to the large organization anymore. We want to send them to you." They knew we had a child development center that we had started 2 months after starting our very first church, which was 8 years ago. And so I said, absolutely, we would love to make that happen. And so we went from receiving 100 Christmas shoe boxes to this past year, 750 bags. So our ministry has expanded, and you know, God always gives you more, and then you get to bless more. So we have gone from blessing the 100 kids at our church to now blessing many churches that are now affiliate churches with our ministry and seminary students. And in fact, I just distributed 3 weeks ago the last of the Christmas bags. You say, well, wait a minute, they didn't get those bags at Christmas time. Right. There's a lot of logistics to get them over there. They have to go from Dallas to Miami, from Miami on a boat to Santo Domingo, and from Santo Domingo, they have to pass through customs, which is always a fight. And it's just a lot of work. People don't know that part of the logistics. In fact, sometimes I tell our kids at our main church, I'm like, this bag is free to you, but it's not free. Anyway, and so then we finally get it through customs, and then it goes on a semi-truck on pallets from the port in Santo Domingo all the way to the city where we're headquartered out of in Santiago. And then from there, we began the distribution. So watch this very first video, and it'll give you an idea of what our Christmas bag ministry looks like. Okay, I'm here at Jaguita Baptist Church with Pastor Smith Dumont. And we are about to hand out the Christmas bags. We're so excited about this. We've got a room full of children at his Christian school. And Pastor Smith actually speaks English. So tell the church a greeting.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for sending bags for us. And then we appreciate that. Thank you for taking of us. And then we pray that God bless you more and more every day.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Pastor. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
En orden, el mismo orden.
Salez-moi. Salez-moi. Hola. Hola.
Wow, cáscara. Wow, ¿qué tú tienes? Una muñeca. Oh, cariñosa. Muéstrame. Hey. Gracias. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
This light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it This light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Jesus is the light, I'm gonna let him shine. Jesus is the light, I'm gonna let him shine. Jesus is the light.
Tres.
Yeah, what's interesting is that, when you give to a foreign agency and so forth, you never actually see the recipients of your donation, of your contribution. And so you can see now how we've gone from 100 children to this past year 750, And so anyway, so what's cool is the fact that we are able to show people, hey, this is where your donation's going. These are the kids that I work with, the kids that know me. In fact, when I show up, it's funny because they all run out to see me because they think I have bags every time I show up. I'm like, no, that's only once a year. But anyway, so God gave us 750 bags this year. That was actually through 4 churches. And I told the Lord, if you want, I'll set a goal for 1,000. Now, that's a lot of work. What you didn't see was all the driving to go to the different locations. So we're based out of Santiago, and then Montecristi is our affiliate churches where we have our North Campus on our seminary. Well, that's 2.5 hours north. The mountain ministry, well, that's 5 hours into the mountains. La Vega is the closest one, only 1 hour and 20 minutes away. And then Jaguita is the closest, only 15 minutes down the road. So anyway, it's a lot of work, but it's so worth it. Now, let me transition. Last year I came and I told you that God had given me a burden to start a Haitian ministry. And you saw some of the Haitian ministry there at Jaguita and the other churches. Well, we needed a Haitian pastor. And if you recall last year, I was like, man, we are trying to raise $300 a month to pay this pastor a salary and to be able to install him. Since this time last year, Menor and Julie, you just saw her in the video. And it's funny, all of the t-shirts that you see in our ministry are from Jake and Emma. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but anyway, all of the t-shirts. And the Dominicans and Asians love those t-shirts. In fact, I've got our design for 2022 in production right now with Jacob and Emma. But anyway, so we are in the process of getting this pastor installed and ready to go. And the Lord laid it on my heart that if this guy's going to be the long-term guy, and quickly God melded our hearts together to tell us he's the guy. Now, he'd never been a pastor before. He was a seminary student. He was a supervisor at a warehouse in the city. But boy, did he come with all the qualifications and the calling. And since this time last year, okay, Menor and Julie, we felt led to give them a house. Okay? So for the last 12 months, I have been raising money for a house for the pastor. And this is for Menor. And you will see in the video, I don't really point it out very well, but you're going to see that Hammond's Mission now occupies almost a whole community block. So we have our church. And then back in 2018, we bought a house for Pastor Kelvis. He's my Spanish pastor. And then in the same process as buying a house for Pastor Menor, the house in between Pastor Kelvis and where we were building for Pastor Menor became available. And you know there's a fine line between faith and foolishness, and sometimes I run on the foolish side. But I said, God, if you'll give me the money, I'll buy that house too. And simultaneous, we bought the other house. And so Pastor Kelvis, my Spanish pastor, he is actually not just a pastor, and not just a seminary professor, and not just a great all-around guy, but he can do electricity, he can do plumbing, and he can do GC, he can do general contracting. And so he was running two projects at the same time. About put him in the grave. He had some good days and some tough days. But I'm telling you, this was a blessing. Because when you give a pastor a home, now think about this, okay? He has no mortgage, no rent. He's 3 doors up from the house of God. And time does not permit me to tell you the stories of how him living right in the same community on the same street as the church have revolutionized our Haitian ministry. Just last month, I was sitting in the back welcoming people as they were coming into church, and these 4 rough guys walked in, and he said, yeah, the one with the long hair, I was meeting with him until 10 o'clock last night. He got saved, and he got saved. And yes, the relationship between the Haitians and the Dominicans. I'll give you a story. 2 Sundays ago, I was sitting at the kitchen table or the dining room table, which thank God my mother-in-law saw the need for that. We built them a house, but they're so poor they don't even have furniture. I forgot to add that into the budget. You know, as Americans, we think you give somebody a house, well, you move your stuff in. When you're poor, you don't have stuff. So anyway, my mother-in-law goes, I'll buy them a dining room table. And I said, thank God. And another lady in the church was like, well, what else do they need? I go, well, they don't have any fans. You know, because we don't have AC, right? Okay. And so anyway, so we got enough donations to get them a table, a mattress, and fans. So anyway, I'm hoping I can get them a couch. They don't even have a couch or anything. Anyway, it's a slow process. But I was sitting there after the ordination service eating with his pastor from Haiti, Pastor Micheline, from Guanamende in Haiti, just over the border of Monte Cristi, where Monte Cristi is on the Dominican side. And he told me he was living in Brazil. Jean Rodet was living in, I didn't know this guy. He was sitting there at the table. He'd come to the service. I guess he's family friend. Turns out he's a close friend of the family and the pastor. And I said, why are you living in Brazil? And tell me about why all the Haitians went up to Del Rio in Texas to cross the border. You know, back in September of last year, we had 14,000 Haitians on the border. Remember that? They walked from Chile. They walked from Chile. I said, why? Well, their visas got revoked, and then our government has this open door policy. So these people risk their lives, which is so dangerous. So dangerous for them to do that. Caravan, it's so dangerous. I don't even need to go into that. But I'm like, no, if God can take care of me, God can take care of you. Stay put. Win the people to Christ that live around you. And so the people that walked to Del Rio used to live in Brazil, but their visas got revoked. Then they go to Chile because they were working on the 2016 World Cup. And then they transfer to Chile to do work for that government, and then some of them decided to leave, and it turns out it was 14,000 of them, and they walked for a year and a half up to Del Rio. Some of the toughest people I know. So I say to Jean, I said, how many people? I said, the news report says 14. He said, no, here on social media, 35,000 went. We don't even really know what's going on. The news only gives us tidbits. He was like, no, it was 35,000 that went up there. These are souls. And I said, Jean, why do you live in Brazil and not over here? He said, well, in Brazil, they treat us like people. So there is a conflict, okay? And I'm the only pastor I know, American pastor, that's running a Haitian ministry church and a Dominican church under the same roof and seeing growth happen. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, our Haitian ministry has outpaced our Dominican ministry. It's unbelievable. So and you'll also see during the service, I'm going to show you our graduation from 3 weeks ago. And I comboed the seminary graduation with all the campuses, Dominicans and Haitians. So check out this video of buying Pastor Menor a house. You talk about a blessing. Check this out. Okay, we're ready for the big reveal. And so we are finally ready. Try not to get run over. We are finally ready to reveal Pastor Menor's house and how awesome this project has turned out. So let's walk up the hill and see what it looks like now. All right, so we walk up the hill. There's Pastor Menor talking to Naika. There's a neighbor. Hola, vecina. Bendiciones. Dios te bendiga. That was Pastor Kelvis's house. Now for the great and grand reveal. Wait for it. Bam! There it is. Finished house.
Sometimes on this journey, I get lost in my mistakes. What looks to me like weakness is a canvas for your strength. And my story isn't over, my story's just begun. And failure won't define me, 'cause that's what my Father does. Yeah, fail, you won't define me, 'cause that's what my Father does. Ooh, and lay your burdens down. Ooh, here in the Father, take your shame at your door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. You're in the Father's house. Arrival's not the end game. The journey is where you are. You never wanted perfect. You just wanted my heart. And the story isn't over if the story isn't good. And failure's never final when the Father's in the room. And failure's never final.
We're having a special dedication service for the house for Pastor Minor and Julie, and we're meeting right next door to where they will be living. Thank you again for everything that you have done to make this a reality. God bless each and every one of you who prayed, who gave, and who saw this from the beginning to the end. God bless you. Okay, I'm here with Minor and Julie, and they are wanting to say a huge thank you to everybody who prayed for them and helped them. And so listen to their message. It's very heartfelt.
Thank you. I'm feel very happy in order to speak with my pastor and in order to say thank you with his friend who usually to send money to work in his house, but today we are before the house. I thanks to God for that. In my wife Julie too. Y le damos muchas gracias a Dios primero y al pastor Lonis también. Y yo y Julie, mi familia, estamos frente de la casa. Es una bendición de Dios. Que Dios bendiga a todos los apoyantes de Estados Unidos y pastor Loni con su familia también. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Por tus bendiciones a mi familia.
Amén. Y gracias
Dios te bendiga más.
Gracias por pensar en nosotros.
Amén.
Amén.
Okay.
Lay your burdens down. Here in the Father's house. Check your shame at the door, 'cause it ain't welcome anymore. You're in the Father's house. Yeah. In the Father's house. Yeah. Prodigals come home. The helpless find hope. Love is on the move when the Father's in the room. Prison doors swing wide. The dead come to life. Love is on the move when the Father's in the room. Miracles take place. The cynical find faith. And love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Jericho walls are breaking. Strongholds now are shaking. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Love is breaking through when the Father's in the room. Lay your burdens down.
Okay, so is that life changing? It sure is. Needless to say, I've had a busy year. So you're wanting to know how much that house cost or not? You don't care? Oh, you care? Okay, I'll tell you, just in case. So Pastor Kelvis's house back in 2018 We did start to finish $35,000. Don't you wish you could buy a house for that? So when we saw this house, the neighbor living next door, Baron, he told us about it. And the previous owner had built a couple of the walls there, but it had been abandoned for about 10 years. So we thought we were really getting a good deal when we were going to buy the house. And I said, okay, I think we can buy the land and do it all for $50,000 because these are post-pandemic prices. And so I set out a goal. You probably saw some of the emails. I was trying to raise the $50,000. And anyway, that $50,000 came and went pretty quick because all the prices have gone up, right? I just got back to the States, and y'all's gas prices are starting to be like ours. See, we've been paying $5.35 for premium fuel for a long time. When I first moved, we were at $6. So to see Americans in sticker shock over gas is kind of comical.
We're not laughing up here.
We've been paying $5+ for gas for the whole time we've been there. The only thing I can say is our diesel fuel is less. And I have 2 ministry vehicles that have diesel motors, and we don't have DEF. We can put just that old, sorry. Now, they do have premium diesels, which I run in my Mitsubishi and the church van. And that is only $4 a gallon. So we're beating y'all there on the diesel fuel, but y'all have to put in special diesel, all that DEF stuff. We don't have to do that. It's funny. The rest of the world doesn't care about emissions and the Green New Deal. The rest of the world just, wow. Sometimes I think us here in America, we're nuts. But anyway, so everything went up, prices went up, PVC pipe went up. You can see we do most of the building with block because wood is so expensive. Number one, we're on an island. Okay. Number two, the government only allows so much production of wood. They only allow, the Haitian side didn't do that, and they have a word called deforestation. And so the Haitian side of the island is really struggling because they just had no permitting. And so people cut down all the trees. When you cut down all the trees, your environment doesn't do very well. You have landslides. I mean, you have all kinds of eco problems when you cut all the trees down. Well, the Dominican side doesn't allow you to do that. And so they regulate the wood production. So most of the building is done with concrete and metal, like you saw. And so praise be to God, we were able to do the house for $60,000. 60. So I got down to the end, and, I was begging people and saying, all right, we just need a few more materials, a little bit more labor. And Kelvis supervised that whole thing, designed the whole thing. Pastor Kelvis, the Dominican pastor, did a fantastic job. And so time does not permit me to tell you all of the benefits of Pastor Menor and Julie living on the same row as the ministry, but it has been amazing to see what God has been doing. Just a quick brief story. So just 3 weeks ago, we had his ordination service. Actually, 2 weeks ago, we had his ordination service because I just got here to the States. And so this was a big deal because even though he was the leader of the church, we have a 1-year process of evaluation to confirm before we just ordain anyone. And so he'd been on staff for a year. We got him the house. He finished his Associate of Arts in Biblical Studies through the Louisiana Baptist University InStep program of the International Education Program, and his wife as well. And so anyway, then I said, you do this step, this step, this step, and I'll ordain you on this Sunday. And so praise be to God, everything worked out. He had his pastor from Haiti come. He had his pastor from where he was attending and serving as a leader in the church and as a Sunday school teacher, which is in the same city that we're in. Santiago is a city of 1.5 million people. So it's a large area, you know, in the spread out. The Santiago itself is 680,000. Then when you add all of the areas like where our church is, it takes it up to 1.5 million people. And so anyway, we're sitting there, we're having the ordination service, and he's invited his friends, his family, the community came out, the church came out, and we had a combined worship service with Dominicans and Haitians. Oh yeah, you know me, I like to push the envelope. And it was awesome. So what we did was we sang 2 songs in Creole, and then I had a time of greeting and announcements and welcoming people. Then we sang 2 songs in Spanish, and then we had the laying on of hands, which was amazing, amazing service. And so here we are. We had Americans, Dominicans, and Haitians ordaining Pastor Menor into the gospel ministry. His pastor from Haiti, his pastor from Santiago, the city, myself, my dad got to come. My dad's 79 years old. He's a retired missionary from Japan and the Philippines. And we're just pushing forward to the next generation of what God can do. And as I get to speak in the next hour, you're going to hear more stories, because our ministry keeps advancing. And it's not that I'm looking for it. Lord, I don't need any more to do. Like, Jeff, that's your life, right? I don't need any more to do. And the Lord just says, now just hang in there, be faithful. Be faithful. And now our seminary is exploding, okay, with the Haitians that need to be trained. One of our students, he was just in my leadership class this past semester. I didn't really know him. He was a student. I'd seen him. I'd talked to him. He was one of the churches that we gave Christmas bags to in the city of La Vega. He's out in the country. He's Haitian. And he told Pastor Kelvis, this is amazing that this is all working together. I mean, you don't know the racial barriers. It's hard to explain it unless you live it. And he's telling Pastor Kelvis, he goes, well, you know, I have this church and I started this church, but I'm actually not ordained. So here's a man leading a congregation. He's not been formally trained. He does not have an ordination. He does not have a spiritual authority in his life. He does not have a church, because that's biblical. See, we don't think about that in America very much. But when you're going grassroots with people, you got to lay the foundation. Now, where do we get our playbook on how to do church planting? The book of Acts. We got a playbook. It's right there in your hands. So you take out the book of Acts and you learn what it means to find qualified elders, qualified pastors, qualified people. You train them. You lay hands on them. You send them out. Now, do you get to forget them once you send them out? See, that is the biggest thing that I'm seeing now God develop into my role as a missionary. I hate to use the word bishop because we think of that in other denominational context. But bishop is actually in the Bible, last time I checked, isn't it? And a bishop is an overseer. So right now, God is allowing me, because we've been living over there for 8 years. We've been ministering there for 11. And I'm just now starting to learn the culture. In fact, that was not Spanish. What language was that? Haitian Creole. Exactly. If you're going to reach people, me besoin communiquer a Creole, right? You got to communicate. Just like, what are you doing, Earl? There you go. The problem is I can't learn French. Actually, Creole is easy. Spanish is hard. If you're going to learn a language, learn Creole. And then finds out there's a lot of words that are similar in Creole that are in Spanish. So my My language acquisition for Creole is going a lot faster than when I was learning Spanish. Woo! Spanish is technical. It's a technical language. It's a lot harder than Duolingo, okay? Trust me. And I have to study constantly, to stay fresh and to learn. But God is expanding our ministry where I'm taking more of an oversight role, and I'm praying about an assistant pastor for Kelvis. Last year I was here praying about a head pastor. Now I still have the assistant pastor, Casimir. I still have him. We haven't lost him. He was the one, he was really my leader of the Haitian church. Then I get on Menor, and the congregation doubled. Menor, Lonnie is me. That's me. Sorry. Yeah, that's my. I'm in the witness. I'm in witness protection program. I'm sorry. See, Earl's my U.S. name, and Lonnie is my Dominican name, because they can't say Earl very good in Spanish. It doesn't come out. It's hard. So I go by my first name over there, Looney. And then you know what they call me? Pastor Looney. They call me Looney. I go, you're probably right. They don't know what Looney is. I'm like, no Looney. It's Loney. If you can't laugh at yourself, don't become a missionary, because you do a lot of laughing. And so anyway, so now I'm asking God to give us an assistant pastor. One of our seminary students in the Barrio Nuevo campus, I just had him preach for us 3 weeks ago. He's got a YouTube channel that he preaches in, and they're just little short clips. And I'm like, Lord, now, you gave me Menor this past 12 months. His name is Emmanuel. God is with us. Could y'all pray for Emmanuel? And his wife's name is Sharon. He's 33. She's 29. He's been faithfully serving at his home church for 14 years. He's been preaching there for 9. And he's come to our seminary to go to the next level. So if God wants me to have him, I got to raise his salary. And he has to fill the call. So we're in that interview process right now. So pray with me about that. Who knows? I may come back in summer of 23 and tell you, okay, we got our next pastor. Because, see, I need to send Kelvis up to the mountains, which is 6 hours away, to get that ministry going. And when I say those people have nothing, okay, listen, you drive 4 hours on asphalt roads, and then you leave the asphalt for 2.5 hours on a mountain pass. As a matter of fact, last month, we sent a delegation of seminary students to Bajecito. It was their first time to ever go that deep into the mountains. The road was so treacherous, Pastor Kelvis said we couldn't go back the front way. We had to go the long way and go down the south of the mountain because the washouts were so bad. That's the road where I've never thought I was going to die except for on that road. Not on the mean streets of downtown. It was on that vegetable road because they grow the beans and coffee out there in the mountains. And, but man, those people need Jesus really bad out there. And so we're just praying and saying, hey, God, if you want it to happen, you bring it, okay? All right, so that's all the time I've got for this morning. I got more for us in the next hour. Thanks for coming this morning.